Come here. You want to see something weird? Welcome to waaaaay Comics. My name is Nate, and I have issues. Today's issues are from Allan the Comic Collector Geek's weekly comic book challenge, but this one is like old. I just cannot get myself together. He puts out these challenges on Fridays, which is awesome. I love to watch them, and then it gets me thinking, and when I'm putting things away in my collection, I start pulling things out that I think are going to fit that theme, and I pile them up, and I just never find the time to shoot it. So I decided, you know what, I don't care how far away from the actual challenge I am. I'm going to go ahead and do this. This one in particular, though, like, I'm so far behind, I think I'm first. I bet he'll reissue this challenge by the time I can get this one out. But if you like this kind of video, if you like people who are late to contests and themes, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing. And with that said, let's look at my top 10 WTF covers. Did I say that part yet? Okay, yeah, so I said that this one was from a while. Okay, the theme of this one is WTF covers, you know. What the... Fraggle? I don't know. I try to keep it PG, so I'm not sure what Allan meant. He's just a little more risque than I am. I try to be as wholesome as possible. So the theme of this one, this Friday comic book challenge, was to find your 10 biggest WTF covers. Like ones that really make you ask, what were they thinking when they put these covers out? And I think I've definitely got some good ones. You know, thank goodness I'm a Silver Age DC collector. That's almost like cheating in a challenge like this. I'm going to start with one that Allan showed in his, and he even said, like, he said, if all you did was show Lois Lane covers, you could cover this contest. And I agree. I only have two. I'm going to start with one and end with one, but this is one he showed. This is Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 73. In this one, Lois is lashing a puppet Superman with a whip, while Superman himself is chained up with kryptonite handcuffs. I don't know what's happening on this cover in terms of just looking at the cover. I've read this story. The story's insane. I made a video about this cover and about this story because the story was so insane. This was a ton of fun to read, but when you just look at the cover, you have to wonder, what were they thinking? Sticking with Silver Age DC, I can't have a WTF cover without Jimmy Olsen. This one was a gift from my friend Hagen. This is Jimmy Olsen, number 98, The Bride of Jungle Jimmy. I don't know if I've shown this one off before in particular, but I do know that he has. So in this one, Jimmy is being wed to a gorilla, and Superman, as a very racially and culturally sensitive witch doctor, is, you know, he's the new shaman of the village, and he's forcing them to get married. They always had these themed covers where Superman and Jimmy were poking at each other, getting back at each other, treating each other mean. This one's just great because Lucy's dressed like a classic adventurer, Lucy Lane. And, you know, she wants to marry Jimmy, sort of, maybe, but now he's going to get married to a monkey. No, an ape. Gorillas are apes. Gorillas don't have tails. Anyway, great cover, great gift, and definitely fits the theme of what were they thinking? All right, for me, this next one is a WTF because of, like, copyright. So this is Inferior 5, number 10. And when I look at this one, like, so the Inferior 5 is a DC comic. It's not one that I, like, particularly, you know, on purpose collect a lot, but this one was interesting enough based on the cover that I wanted to pick it up. So we have the Inferior 5, and I don't remember their names, but somebody can tell me in the comments. But we've got Superman up here. What we have down here are a bunch of Marvel characters. If you look at Mr. Fantastic, it's clearly Mr. Fantastic, but they have removed the 4 from his chest insignia. But the other characters are, like, clearly who they are. Spider-Man is clearly Spider-Man. The Thing is clearly the Thing, and the Human Torch is clearly the Human Torch. I don't know how they got away with this. I mean, it is parody, I think-ish. But this one, I wasn't sure how they got away with getting as close as they did to their main competition's characters. I don't know, maybe there was a deal. Maybe there's a equivalent Marvel book from this age that had some DC characters the same way. So I thought this one was interesting, and it did make me ask, like, how they were able to do it. It was enough that I included it in this. Right, this one made me, like, laugh out loud when I found it, and then it's part 1 of 2. I was lucky enough that Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack sent me part 2. So this is Elf Trek, which is like a mashup between Star Trek and ElfQuest, which is weird enough in and of itself. Like, Star Trek definitely has a huge fandom, but is there this crossover fandom with ElfQuest to carry a book like this or a parody like this? The one that really stands out to me is in the top here. We also have the Assmen, which I think is supposed to be the X-Men, but everybody's a donkey. I have no idea. I do like I said, I do have both issues now, and as I'm starting to like get things cleaned up here at year's end, this is one that I'm setting aside that I want to read. But like I said, it's been in this pile of WTF covers for me to make a video about for over a month now. So I'm glad to finally get this done, because it's not only helping me get organized, but it's also helping me like get my reading pile together in books that I've like intended to read since I got them. So this is exciting, this is weird, and this definitely fits the theme. Concrete is a character that I just started getting into this year because I came across a run of the title really cheap. Like, I got numbers 1 through 10 for about $1 each. And so this cover here really stood out to me because at first glance it probably doesn't look that weird, but Concrete is this big rock, like he's kind of like the Thing, but he's a big rock character. He's been hired to be a bodyguard for this guy who definitely looks like some kind of Prince clone, but if you really look at him, like, he has all these wires where he's got these bones and skulls and things tied to him, which are also tied to the triggers of guns that are tied to him. So if somebody grabs this and pulls on it, he's going to get shot on stage while he's performing. A very, very bizarre cover, performance art, and very weird that somebody would do this. But the fact that this was on the cover, like, anybody, and people are grabbing, if you see, people are grabbing for the bones, because if they get the bone and they pull it, kaboom, very odd. So this one definitely made me ask, what were they thinking, and WTF, and all the rest of it, and I thought it was worthy of including in this challenge. Brave and the Bold, number 165. This one is a team up of Batman and Man-Bat, and man, what makes this one WTF for me is that Man-Bat has like a baby sling. Man-Bat is carrying a baby, and the word balloon, scree, my baby's dying, and it's all your fault, Batman, scree. Why? I don't remember Man-Bat as a character having a child. I know he's a human who gets turned into a bat because of scientific research, but the idea that they would put the baby strapped to Man-Bat and fly around the city as part of the story, and then that it would make it to the cover, I just think this one's fantastic. It makes me giggle every time I see it, so that's why I included this one. Next one I've shown before, I found at Comic-Con. This is another Jimmy Olsen. This is number 141, and this one guest stars Don Rickles, and this is just so weird. It's part 2. Part 1 of the story, so this is what, 141? Part 1 of the story is actually in 139 because 140 is a reprint issue. And in this, Don Rickles plays a couple of different characters. He plays a character that works at the Daily Planet named Goody Rickles, who wears a superhero costume. And then he plays Don Rickles himself. This was apparently an attempt by Jack Kirby to up sales of Jimmy Olsen by tying it to a popular TV actor. But from what I understand, Don Rickles didn't care for this at all. And I don't blame him. It was terrible. Like, it was not fun to read at all. I did get the first part and I got to read it, but then I gifted it to somebody because I knew they were trying to track it down as well, and to be perfectly honest, it didn't bother me that it was gone. So should you check this out? Yeah, if this kind of weird stuff appeals to you, I mean, this didn't cost very much, and it is weird. And how often do you see like a photograph as part of a cover? Not often. It's not a die cut. It's not some kind of weird, like, what they would do in the 90s. This is just a printed photo on the cover. Very, very bizarre. What were they thinking? And to jump back into Marvel for a couple of books here, this one here is Avengers number 239. This is from Assistant Editors Month. Marvel did this thing where they let the assistant editors write issues of comics. So this one has the Avengers going on late night with David Letterman. It's not a bad rendition of David Letterman there. I have not read this yet, but I have read several of the Assistant Editors Month issues from Marvel Comics, and not a one of them has not been absolutely terrible. So I have very low expectations for this one, and I kind of hope it's as bad as some of the others were. Maybe those assistant editors were assistants for a reason. Little bird wasn't ready to fly out of the nest. I don't know. But I do think this is kind of funny. I mean, look at Black Widow's back there. She's an assassin, an international assassin, but she's just on TV. She's just waving like everybody else. Hawkeye, Wonder Man. Now, Wonder Man was an actor. Black Panther's about the only one I feel like who's treating this right as a superhero. He's trying to edge out, like, hey, don't I don't want to be on camera. I'm here to hero. Oh, and of course, Hank's hanging from the light rigging on the ceiling. I don't know. It's a weird one. Hey, what if Nick Fury just went back in time and killed Hitler, and then there would be no World War II? But then the Fantastic Four also goes back in time to stop him from killing Hitler. Yeah, why not? So this is Fantastic Four issue 292. This is a weird one. I ended up with this one solely because it's Hitler on the cover, and because Nick Fury wants to kill him, and because the Fantastic Four wants to stop him. I am sure there's a good historical reason why they're, keeping him from following through, and I'm sure he also has a good reason for wanting to kill Hitler. I mean, there's nothing but good reasons for killing Hitler. So anyway, this is a weird cover, man. Nick Fury's gonna kill Hitler, and we have to stop him. Or do we? I bought this 100% for a cover buy. I thought it was very, very bizarre, and I dig it. It unfortunately, my copy has some damage to it. I think this is a cover that some people hunt down. Fantastic Four 292. Do they kill Hitler or not? I don't know. We'll have to find out. And then last, but definitely not least, we're ending with Lois Lane number 103. It's a 15-center, Shades of Satan. Lois has been turned into a demon, and look whom she's marrying. I love that Superman has proper grammar here, even when it doesn't sound right to our ears. By the infernal powers of Hades, I take you as my wife, Lois. This is Lois Lane marrying the devil. The actual cloven-hooved, horned devil. I loved this story. I think it's actually part 2 of a bigger story, The Devil's Bride. Love the cover. I'm going to have more to say about this particular book and storyline in the future. This was one of, 15 cents, so it's more towards the end of the Lois run, but this one, some of those don't hold up as much. This one was a ton of fun. Absolutely loved it. So cannot recommend Lois Lane enough. And, if you're going to get Lois Lane, you may as well pick up The Devil's Bride when Lois marries the devil. So that's it. That's my top 10 WTF covers for my collection. And, let's be honest, I don't know that that's my top 10. That's 10 that I came across that I wanted to show you, so I hope you enjoyed them. I'm going to encourage you to check out Allan, the Comic Collector Geek's channel. He has so many videos. I'm on his weekly live stream on most Fridays, which it's a blast to hang out with him, and Steven, and Hagen, and Matt. But, these challenges, he puts them out, and they last for a week, but even, if you missed the week like I did, and this seems like something that might be fun for you to go through, please do. I would love to see your WTF covers as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Psst, psst. You want to see something weird?